everyone, I'm Ripple. No Raspberry this week because of, I'm sure as everyone's aware, the current ongoing situation in the world. Anyway, I wasn't sure whether to put a video up at the minute, but I had this game done before everything kicks off with this pandemic, and I've just been sitting here much like everyone else has, so I thought, why not get it done? I mean, I've been playing a lot of games. I'm sure a lot of you have. So, yeah, here we go. It may not be the same without Raspberry here, but I'll give it my best. So, anyway, yeah, welcome to the channel. This week, I will be reviewing Decay of Logos. So, let's get down to the particulars, as Raspberry always says. So, this game, I'm reviewing it on Nintendo Switch. It was released on the 28th of November 2019, although I do believe it released early on the 29th of August in 2019. It was unfinished and they didn't plan to release it that date. So a lot of the reviews you see going around on the internet are from that version, which was quite interesting to find out, because I read nothing but bad about this game before I played it. Which I'm quite surprised about, but I'll talk more about that in depth. Anyway, it's developed by Amplify Creations and published by Rising Star Games. It's also available on Steam and GOG and PS4 and Xbox One. So let's get into it. So basically it's an action RPG, heavily inspired, I would say, by Breath of the Wild. I'm sure you can see that by the graphic style on it. I will say some bits, it's clearly an indie game. You can tell it's not got a big studio behind it, but you play as a young elf called Ada, I believe her name was, and at the start of the game you witness her village destroyed and her family killed. I put a little laughter there because of the Wilhelm scream. Yeah, and you meet up with a mystical elk. Sorry, not elf. She's an elf. You meet up with an elk, which I believe is kind of meant to be like Link with a horse. You know, when you get your horse as Link. And the elk follows you through the game. You can ride it. You have to feed it these berries to ride it. You can store stuff on it, and there's puzzles that you can do with it. I'll be honest with you, it was a good idea, the elk, but I never really used it much. Riding it, I've seen a lot of people say that the controls were awkward. I didn't find the controls awkward. I just found that it was quicker running, more better to run. You know, less aggro to run. The only thing I really used it for, the elk, when it gets more used to you, I did find this, when the more you pet it, the more you feed it, it does help you in combat, which is quite good, and it does get a bit faster as well. But still, I just found it quicker to run everywhere. The only thing I really used it for was storing items, which can be a problem, because you only get a set amount of items that you can hold on you. The combat in the game, it reminds me very much of I want to say Dark Souls, but it's so cliche. But it is very Dark Souls like. Not as hard, but it's that kind of combat. It's even got these little pyres you can rest at. Once all the enemies are gone, they're gone, and you rest at these pyres and they respawn. And in the first area I was struggling a bit for a while, so I did a bit of grinding until I could do like the first mini boss. But yeah, I didn't struggle too much. I've heard a lot of complaints about it being hard, the game, but I think if you don't mind a little bit of grinding, it's yes, it's pretty good actually, to be honest. The enemies in each area are different. I mean, the plot of the game, you have to slay some princes. There's these, I believe it's 3 or 5, I can't remember, it's been a while since I played this game. I think it's like 3 or 5 princes have taken over each of the lands, and I think there was 5 princes, but you only fight 3 of them, and each part of the land they've took over is the enemies in that land, like they've affected the land in a different way. So I mean the detail on the areas, each area is so drastically different from the other one. It's a beautifully detailed game in that respect. I must admit there's a lot of variation, and yeah, there's a lot of deep lore to this game as well, which I really enjoyed. And there is voice characters, which is great. And what you're seeing on the screen here is their version of temples, like Zelda as well, I would say. They're called arcs, I believe. And yeah, you go in there, you do a little puzzle, fight some enemies, and you can find stronger items, weapons, stuff like that. Yeah, and they're dotted all around the land. As you can see there, like I could swap my sword for a bow. There's a lot of different armor sets and weapon sets in this game. The boss fights, which you're seeing up now. Yeah, I mean, the boss designs were good. I didn't really find the bosses too challenging though, being honest with you. I thought the game itself was more challenging than the boss fights. Getting to the boss fights proved more of a challenge than the actual bosses. I mean, you get a good weapon, you hang on to it. I mean, you can go to the village, you get a hub. At one point in the game you get a hub and you can go there, and there's a guy who fixes your weapons. So you get a good weapon, you take it back there, because weapons take damage on this, as do armor and things. So you can take them back there and the guy will fix them for you. So you find yourself sticking to one set if you get a good weapon, and yeah, just use it on the bosses. As you can see, I'm doing a lot of damage, although some stuff does more damage to some enemies and bosses, etc. But yeah, I really like the design of them. You know, so here's the hub village here, and this is, it's one point in the game you get to go here, and you'll find yourself coming back here quite a bit. I must admit, the voice acting in this game, there's a few NPC characters with voice acting, and they're all spot on. I mean, I'd really like to see them expand on this game with more of a budget, because as much as this game can be a little janky in places, I did really enjoy my time with it, and I played it through and I finished it, and yeah, I could see myself going back to it in the future. But yeah, I would like to see them do it on with more of a bigger budget, to be honest. So yeah, so on to my final thoughts. So for an RPG game, you could certainly do a lot worse. For the price, I believe it was $17.99, and at the minute I believe that it's on sale for $14.39. So yeah, it's definitely worth every penny of that. As for score, I would give this I'd give it a 6 out of 10. Definitely a 6 out of 10. The only thing that really lets it down for me is probably just, I don't know, the production value of it. Like, it's lacking the polish. Like, there's not that much polish. It needs a bit of polish to it, I guess. I mean, it's fine. It plays. It's just a bit janky. It's really good game though. I recommend it highly. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Please stay safe in these times, and I'll try and get another video up again soon. Thanks for watching.